Oh, I just killed you. You just killed you. You're the lazy bum today, I can tell. And then at 10 o'clock, you're going to have a witching hour, right?
No idea.
Right? Well, we sure lazy all day, and then 10:30, you're going to be biting my hands and licking my nose. And Mommy, play with me.
Did you eat breakfast this morning?
No. Why would I eat breakfast?
I only eat breakfast when Mom goes. All right, my live stream's up. I don't know if this one will be busy because they just submitted their exams, so this might be a no one's in a rush to jump to their content, but we'll see. It might not. I could see myself only having like 2 or 3 students check in today, or I could see. You never know. Like sometimes people have questions. Hi, Cynthia. Test should be graded probably. I'm going to be working on some today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. I'm going to say probably everyone will be up by Wednesday, but it might be Thursday for the last few exams. Yes, of course, we have something due this week. Every week we'll have something due. Memory for this week. Everything's in the module. It's a memory discussion board. So you're going to watch some videos and my video lecture and everything like that. And then there's 3 questions on the memory discussion board. 2 of the 3 are based off of videos. The third one's just based off of a posing kind of a hypothetical that probably everyone has had happen before. And then this one will be just like the social psychology discussion board with the video on the Stanford Prison Experiment, where you post for 250 words and then you reply to 2 classmates. But every single week we'll have something due for the rest of the semester. After you take a look at it, if you have any questions, we can talk about the actual forum question or something like that. You're very welcome. It's going to really get hard to live stream later on in the semester when my hair gets longer and longer. Like, I'm looking at my hair right now, I'm like, oh my God, it's a mess. Oh, at least they can't see the back of my head. I know the back of my head is a mess. It's starting to poof like a mullet starting. Yeah. Right. Maybe I'll just wear a hat when I do these, honestly.
If it gets longer, I'll braid it for you. I'll try to like contain it.
There we go.
Some butterfly clips.
There we go. Go on to my live stream. Hey everyone, my wife did this. This wasn't me. Oh God.
I don't like terrible with mohawk. Your head's so big and the nose so
Yeah,
short.
it did not look good, but everybody has to figure out, you go through that identity phase where you're trying to figure out, who you are. I wore like shiny silver jean shorts when I was in high school. All about figuring out who you are. Tommy's still, I think, doing that a little bit. Hey there, Bubs. Yeah, I have a feeling I'm gonna cut my stream off early. I had the one person ask a question, nobody's been in it since. Hi, Bub. You pretty girl? Pretty girl. Your mama just picks you up. You have to deal with it.
Yes.
Hey, Bub. Just for the lunch break. Oops, sorry. Somebody actually came in. Hey, Michael, what's up? This week can go Monday to Friday. Any day that you want to do your postings can be the first post Monday to Wednesday, any day that you want to do it, and then the reply posts have to be in by Friday. So theoretically, you could do the reply posts on like Wednesday as well, or Thursday or Friday. So this week we're doing the discussion board on memory. I dragged the module up to the top of the list. Yeah, it's another discussion board. Every week is going to have something due. This week is a discussion board. Next week is a couple discussion boards. Then the week after that will be an actual assignment that's due. And then you'll have the third exam. Notes, keeping track of notes. There's an app called Evernote that can be really good. Or I just use the Notepad app on my phone, but Evernote is one of those really good across devices thing. Exam 3, the module's actually up. You can actually see when it's going to be. The exam's just not in. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the module I still have to do. So that module will be up this week. April 27th to May 1st. In that module, will be the third exam. So this week we have a discussion board on memory. Next week we're doing the group discussion assignments. Then we're going to have it's not a discussion board, it'll be an actual short paper that you submit on personality. Then that following week will be the third exam. And then the last week you're just submitting the rest of your research documents. So exam 3, the last week of April. Pen and paper notes work too. Especially right now, since we're always at home, you don't have to worry about, forgetting the note when you need it. Hi, pup. You're almost on camera. You're just slightly too low for camera. Correct. The rest of our semester is online. So we won't be back in the classroom the rest of the semester. So the final exam is going to work exactly like the second exam did. Where the exam you just submitted to me this past week, I'll have those grades up. I'm going to grade a little bit today, tomorrow, Wednesday. I think I'll have everyone graded by Wednesday, but I might have a couple people that I finish up on Thursday. Thursday, I'll be uploading the last two modules as well for the semester. And the final exam, or exam 3, I don't like to call it the final exam because it's its own exam. It's just on 3 topics, like all of them. That exactly like the second one did, where I give you the exam booklet and an answer key. You just submit the completed answer key to me on Canvas. So we don't do intro to psychology part 2. Not too many schools do that, but a couple of them do. The bottom line is, if you remember the very first class of the semester, I had said to you, there's so many different topics in psychology. Like each topic that we're talking about, each chapter of this book, is its own branch of psychology that you could theoretically get a PhD in or a master's degree in. There, because of the way that it works, if we do intro to psychology over one semester, there's not enough time to get to every one of those topics. We won't even get to the topic that I specialize in, is industrial organizational psychology, and we won't even cover that topic in the class. So a few schools can do that as 2 different, like intro to psychology 1 and 2, but most don't. So if you want to continue in psychology from here, it's the first thing that you'd want to start thinking about. It's not something you need to know when you finish this class, is which types of psychology you're more interested in. What I would say to take next, the requirements for psychology, you're going to need to take research methods and statistics no matter where you might transfer to. So I would recommend to get those done while you're here, because you have to take those. But beyond that, when you get into the actual subject matter of psychology, the one I usually would recommend to people to take while you're here is just to take lifespan and development, because that overlaps with just so many types of psychology are going to overlap with lifespan, that it kind of fits as just a next step. Personality can also be a really good next step if you wanted to take maybe development and personality. But you get some choice too. If you're more interested in social psychology, like we just covered, then you take the class in social psychology. If you're more interested in psychological disorders, you go abnormal. It's kind of what you're interested in, and then you pick and choose. When you transfer from Middlesex to wherever you go for your bachelor's degree, they will have some requirements for your major in psychology if you want to major in it. The way that those requirements work is usually they're going to say you have to take one class between these 2 or one class of these 3. But schools can be a little different with what they allow there. Those multiple classes will be in each pillar. So to give you an idea of the pillars, that step 1, that library worksheet, we had bullet points from pillar 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There's also a little bit in the syllabus about the different pillars. The way that the pillars of psychology work is like pillar 1 has a couple of different topics of psychology that are somewhat related. They're all different topics, but maybe one topic is all about the brain, focuses more on the brain. Another one's more about psychology as wellness, or psychology like in terms of like social psychology, or learning and things like that. So they kind of are categorized a little bit. And most schools will make you take one class in each pillar, and then you get to focus on one pillar thereafter. But that part of things, I would say to wait until you transfer from Middlesex to do, because each school could be a little different on that. So while you're here, you take intro, research methods, statistics, because no matter what, you're going to take those. And then lifespan is a really good one to take. Personality could be a really good one to take. And then for the most part, it's really what you're interested in. And then you figure out from there. I mean, community college, get your requirements out of the way for sure. And then from there, take what topic you're most interested in. If you knew that you were really interested in social psychology, then no matter what, you're going to take social psychology. So you can take that here if you were interested. So it really just becomes your own preference from there. And there's also going to be a lot of upper level classes where you transfer that don't exist at the community college level, that are more specialized based off of the professor. Maybe a professor wrote a book in a specific topic. For example, when I teach at Rowan University and I teach a class about conflict, because that's really where my specialization is. I specialized on organizational conflict and on office place romances, if it's a good thing or a bad thing to date a coworker. Those are really my two specializations. So I teach that class at Rowan, but that class is too specialized to have at a community college. So you'll take advantage of classes like that wherever you might transfer to. If you transfer to Rutgers, the article that I gave everyone for Neuro on love, that professor is at Rutgers, so you could take a class with her and you can learn from the source. An incredible class that I have no doubt. So that part you figure out where you transfer. Anyone else have any questions? Our numbers kind of went up quite a bit, like 15 minutes in. I was sitting there playing on my phone. All of a sudden, I looked up and we had 5 people in, and we've been fluctuating between like 4 and 7. It's a great school. I love teaching at Rowan. I think the campus is awesome, and I know the students that at least that are in my classes typically report that they really enjoy the student life experience there as well. Correct, Keith. You could do a little internet research as well as from the book or anything like that. I don't have that specifically mentioned in the PowerPoint. The other questions are more directly from the PowerPoint. But yeah, that's what you're going to definitely talk about, context dependent memory, and that's going to be all about priming retrieval cues for sure. Glad I could help, Michael. On that memory forum for this week, when I have the blank, I had that question. I had someone ask that question to me last night. When I have the blank, I'm not asking you to fill in the blank. It's not like an exam question. I just left it as blank because I feel like everyone has had a situation where there's been something. It might not be a glass of water, or it might not be a bag of chips. It could be something different for everyone. But I think that's something that almost everyone has gone through, that progression that I have in question 2. If we can have weather like this through the entirety of April, I don't think getting through this will be that difficult. I mean, obviously, it's still going to be a challenge, but being able to open the window to go get fresh air. Yesterday, I went for a long walk. Today, I'm going to go for a long walk. If you can go out and you get some air, you can enjoy the weather. You can just like be outside a little bit and not cooped up between the same rooms all the time. It will make a unbelievable difference. So as far as the weather being nice, this is so refreshing for me. And as you brought up the question about the weather, my wife's walking around with headphones. I think she's getting ready to go take a walk herself. Kona did a really good job avoiding the camera. Like, she perfectly dipped underneath the camera there. Oh, there she is. Your tail was in the camera. There you go. You're on TV. It's my A+ student right there. Sleepy? That was that big yawn. That was a big yawn. You should go, girl. Thank you, my business. Anybody else have any questions? Anything we want to chat about? Memory discussion. So this week's memory discussion is at the top of the modules page. Now I dragged it up to the top right before the live stream started. It has 3 questions in the discussion board. So if you go into the module, it's going to be very reminiscent of the social psychology module. You have a weekly introduction, and always read that first. I will always outline step by step what you're doing for the week. So you have that weekly introduction you start with. You're going to have a PowerPoint that you can look at, as well as a 10-minute lecture of me going over memory. I think this week's was like 9 minutes or something like that. You always watch that. You always look at the PowerPoint, watch the video lecture, and then review whatever parts of the PowerPoint I didn't go over, because I won't in 10 minutes be able to go over every slide. After that, then there's a page that has some extra videos for the week. If you have some questions about things, want some extra information, there is actually some really good information in those videos about one of the 3 discussion questions, the one that Keith had mentioned a little earlier with the context-dependent memory. That there's some really good information in the extra videos for the week there. But on the actual discussion board for memory this week, there are 3 questions that you're going to answer. 3 sections, I guess, is better to describe it as than 3 questions. 3 parts to the question. 2 of the 3 have a video that's attached to them, and the last one is that context-dependent memory. That does not have a video attached to it. You're just responding to that prompt. And you're responding to all 3 of those prompts. 2 of the 3 of them have a short video attached to it. I think they're both 2-minute videos. And the third one you're just responding to. You do some research from the textbook, internet research, and my nice little gentle nudge will be watch those extra videos for the week for some good information about those as well. Mommy's not taking you. You're not special. We'll have to take you later. We'll take you for a nice one later when we go together. And I should also mention that this week's memory is off of the chapter for memory. We will have a discussion next week as well, April 13th to the 17th. That'll also be on memory, but that's going to be for the group discussion on memory. So where we've been doing the article discussions every week, that will be, there'll be an article discussion on memory and social, and then it still had to do development on development as well. That discussion is going to be April 13th to the 17th. So that will also be about memory, but it's going to be a little different. Yeah, puppy's staying home for this one. I'm surprised she didn't take her, to be honest. She's probably going to try to power walk a little bit and then get back pretty quick for work. Our dog never understood when she goes for a walk that it's not all about smelling, that sometimes we're just going for a walk for exercise, just, kind of go. So our dog is constantly just pulling to the side. She can be very distracting if we're going for a jog or something like that. But we'll go after work. We're going to go take a nice one together. We'll take her on a couple-mile walk. Yeah, I did a lot. Like, we were really good with training her, but there must be something specific that you're supposed to do that I didn't do when it came to training her for that. As soon as my wife left, she gets up from right here. She's looking out the window and won't leave the window until she comes home. She's a good pup. Anybody else have any questions about the week's chapter or anything? Just general, things going on with our quarantine and the virus, anything going on? Final paper, I have to load up step 3. I think it's 3 pages, but let me confirm that before I give it to you. As far as teaching remotely, I teach a lot online. So the online part of things is, no big. I actually prefer teaching online than in the classroom usually, because online you just have more opportunity. There's more things I can do with using the internet and things like that. However, this being like changing an on-site class to an online class has been a very big challenge. Simply because an online class is nothing like an on-site class. You cover the same chapters, but you cover them completely differently. So the end result is, because of what happened, is we're taking a face-to-face class and basically taking that online. So it's actually been a very big challenge, because we're actually really limited on what we can do. Like, the nice part of online classes usually is that you get is the limit. You have more opportunity, more options of what you can do. Sorry, the file wasn't loading for me, so I have to actually load it from my flash drive. You get more opportunities on what you're doing with the class. This, we're dealing with, we understand that some of you in face-to-face classes are a lot more tech savvy than others. Some are very good with Canvas and others aren't. Some are relying completely on Canvas from a cell phone and may not have easy access to a laptop from home. And all that, what it really does is it limits what we can do. So this has been very challenging, between getting as much information available as quick as we can to you, with having a lot more limitations on what we do, and having to really spend a lot of time thinking, all right, we're going to use this technology with the class. Is this technology going to be something that everyone can learn how to use, even if they don't immediately know how to use them? Something like Zoom or YouTube, where we pretty much decided that everyone can learn how to use that, even if it's not something that they immediately do. But then there's things that are really tough. Like, we had a big discussion about one of the assignments, that the poster assignment. I'm going to give everyone the option to do that using Prezi. Some of you may have already used it or are really familiar. It's basically just a more interactive PowerPoint, and it's actually really, really good for student presentations. It's not as good for going all through a full chapter from a textbook, because that's a little too much content for a Prezi. But for a presentation, it actually works really well. So some of you might have even used that before for a different class or for a presentation or something. But we went through this big discussion on, can we require you to use that or not? And the end result was, I decided to do this as you can do it as a Prezi, or just kind of take pictures of a physical poster board and just post the pictures. That's actually been challenging, very, very challenging, I would say, for switching everything online. The other part that stinks for a professor switching things online is, when I teach an online class, I do a tremendous amount of work before the class starts, because I'm uploading all of that content before the class starts. Then when the class starts, there's inevitably, when you're doing things online, there's a lot of questions, a lot of emails. I had to do both of those all at once for our on-site classes. So I was dealing with a lot of emails and questions, which I expected, while I'm also trying to get content up. So, and I'm sure every one of your professors were probably doing the same thing. I mean, I was probably spending 12 to 14 hours every single day doing something related to work for those first 2 weeks. So that was a big challenge as well, is balancing this whole, what we're supposed to be, what our normal 8-hour a day job, our 40-hour week job, becomes a very strenuous few weeks. But now that almost everything is uploaded for content, my job has gotten to normalcy again. So what's nice about that is I'll be able to start getting back to you on emails maybe a little quicker, whereas a whole lot of emails have just been like basically piling up, that it's almost consistently, I would say, been 24 hours replying to detailed questions and just the really quick, like simple questions I was able to get back to really quick. But I mean, I love teaching online. Um, this isn't the best representation of what an online class would be. There's parts of what we're doing that are similar to how I would do them in an online class. Like our discussion boards are probably like 2/3 of what my online classes discussion boards are. My on like a normal online classes discussion board, I have them do a little bit like they're using both a YouTube video and a meme instead of just picking one. They're required to do a little internet research, and the questions that I ask are a little bit more open-ended than what I've been asking for you all. Actually, I guess the social psychology one was a good example of what I would ask in an online class, but the memory one this week is a little bit more guided than I would ask in my online classroom. So I do enjoy it. I love teaching online. I absolutely do. This one had its own unique and new challenges. To the research paper, step 3 is 3 pages in the body of the paper. So you'll have a title page, an abstract page, and a reference page, and then you have the 3 pages in the body of the paper. We got an email about the security with Zoom. I know that's been a big thing. That's been a big thing going on. Last week they were talking about that a whole lot with Zoom. So unfortunately, it can definitely happen with Zoom. It's very easy to potentially just have somebody get in there, and there's been some unfortunate stories that you've seen on the news, like somebody coming in just making random noises or drawing some unsuitable for work pictures and things like that. Hopefully, it doesn't happen too much. I know they just increased the security for Zoom in an update that we just got rolled out today. So hopefully, that doesn't happen as easy. But yeah, that's definitely the negative of Zoom. So maybe that's a good reason we're using this a little bit more. So step 3 will be 3 pages. Step 4 is going to be posting the poster either on Prezi, or you just do it like a normal poster board. It doesn't have to be trifold. You could just do a normal poster board and just take photographs of the poster and post them to the discussion board. The big thing for everyone to know with that, and I'm going to have that information in every single week the rest of the semester in the module. I'll have the instructions for step 3 and step 4. The important thing for everyone to know is that is both of those assignments. So there's both 2 pretty big assignments that are going to be due the same week. Every other week, it's really just one assignment for the week. And both of those are going to be due the last week. And that that module only runs for 3 days, Monday to Wednesday instead of Monday to Friday. So a lot of information. So I don't recommend waiting to the last minute to completely do everything from the ground up. I'll post a video with going over those assignments in my own words. Next week, I think I'll post that. Maybe I'll try to get that posted over the weekend, but by next week, I want to have that up. Me too. I really enjoy that. You're still going to be able to submit to me the movie poster if you want to do that instead of the personality assignment. I have the option for it. I was looking forward to having those hang on the wall. It's something that I think is a really nice touch, and it could be really fun and really nice to go and see your poster hanging up and take like a picture of that on your cell phone or something like that. So I'm disappointed that we weren't able to get to that, but the virus has made a lot of things have to change, unfortunately. If you have to guess, my wife picked out these mugs. And you could probably guess which one she was drinking out of this morning. Wifey. Yep. Exactly what it says. Have a great day as well, Taylor. And still, if it looks like I have one other person, because I'm pretty sure it counts myself. Do you have any questions about anything you want to chat about? I guess not. Maybe that was Taylor actually too. Just in case the numbers are not accurate and anyone else is in the room right now, I'm going to hang out for another couple minutes and then I'm going to end the stream from there. I doubt I'm going to get anyone new jumping in for the last 10 minutes. Those people will probably come to my second one today. Do remember, if anyone is in the room, that I'll be back in just over an hour at 1:30. And we'll be doing it again, chatting about whatever we might need. I'm going to stay in the room just for a couple minutes in case anyone is still in the room or anyone pops in, very quickly. But I'm going to sign off in like 2 or 3 minutes. Wow, that's 20. I would have gone the other one. No, still. So what is on the right now? On the way here. Looks like somebody might have jumped in the room. If you have any questions, let me know. We pretty much just finished talking about everything. So for the most part, right now, I'm just checking my messages on my phone, seeing if anybody has any questions. And otherwise, I'm also going to be back, remember, at 1:30 today. And I'm sure I'll be chatting about a whole bunch more stuff from there. But if you have any questions, let me know and I'll chat about them now. I'm going to sign off until about 1:30.